You alive?
Yeah.
Got to get a shot in you.
Yeah, right. Some vitamin B, man. To send a nurse over. There, the dog.
The whole coat. Joey, how the fuck are you, man?
I'm good, Dirty. How are you?
I'm fine. You still
Besides,
doing metal? Huh?
besides hanging a little bit.
Well, last time we spoke, the cops were at your door. Are they there today, or are we good to go?
Yeah, we had a couple of firsts, didn't we? We had the cops at the door, and then the first guest to pull out a bong and do fucking poke up a couple of hits, man. Right on.
Look, last time we were on, we had Paulie Bacon Fingers, right? And I know he's gonna watch this episode because he was like, you guys got to have Joey back on. I'm like, yeah, we absolutely do. The last time we talked, that was probably one of my favorite podcasts that we ever did. Like, that shit got wild right the fuck away. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. That's why we do this shit. I mean, we don't make money doing this shit. So it's like, it's fun as hell. So what's going on, Joey? What you up to?
Fucking nothing much. Same as always. Working and riding.
Yeah.
Trying to survive.
Now, did we talk since your accident?
No, the accident happened after the last podcast.
So what the fuck happened, man? How'd you get into a wreck?
Splitting lanes, doing like 80, and traffic was heavy, and I was just jamming to the Plex, and then all of a sudden, traffic to my right started backing up, and this broad in the fast lane went to change lanes, and when she changed lanes, her lane it wasn't moving anymore, and she left her ass hanging over the line. So I started downshifting. Downshifting wasn't working anymore, so I hit the brakes and I slid right into her. So luckily, when I slid into her, she gassed out, and I went over the bars and landed on the road. But nothing bad. I was able to stand up, get my bike off the freeway. So
nice. Did you get all fucked up, or?
I sprained my knee pretty bad. It swole up like twice the size, and I had to walk with it for like probably a month or two. And then once my knee was better, I started working on collecting all the parts I needed and putting the dyno back together. So,
but it's all back together now.
Yes, sir.
Nice. So you still working for that metal fab shop?
Yeah, I'm still there. I was telling Tank, our owner at the time, the last time I talked to you, he was fighting colon cancer, and he actually passed last year. So
that sucks.
He was only, what, 40, 41?
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
His runs the shop now. And then me and another long-term employee of his, we both kind of help back of the house. And the rest of the guys that are there are still there. And then my wife since has gone from being like our shipping girl to being custom painter. So sent her to a custom painting class. And then one of my good friends from high school is a custom painter. He works for us. And that's like her mentor. So
what are they custom painting?
All the bikes, all tins. So we're doing like lowrider, all the like fancy West Coast lowrider panel jobs you see on dynas and shit now, that sort of style. And then we also do, since we have production parts, like all of our full fender kit and like FXRT fairings, they do all the production paint on them too. So we product, like, paint match all the Harley factory colors for our fairing. So,
wow, that's awesome. Fuck. Might have to talk to you on the side. Yes. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. So what else is new?
Let's see. Bike, boss,
club.
Really fucking trying to get more side work so I can hopefully one day start my own shop. That's been like my goal of mine since I was 14. So
I hear you, man. So
what you been up to?
Fucking same shit, different day, man. It's just a mess. I don't know what to tell you. I can't even talk. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. I was just passed out on the bar 10 minutes ago. So what I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. But
yeah, we were shooting the shit, waiting for you to come out of it.
What'd you guys talk about?
All the stuff you talked about. One other subject, but he can talk about it if he wants to.
Okay. What subject would that be?
The last time I was on, I was hanging around for a club and
Yeah.
still friends with that club, and I still work on all their bikes and everything. But I've since stepped away from 1% World and gone more family club. So the club that I kick it with now, Pacific Savages, they're a Polynesian primarily, but it's an indigenous based club. So they have natives, and then a couple, like everything else is like Filipino, Samoans, Tongans. They're all islanders for the most part.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, hey, it's you got to get in where you fit in, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean,
I just wasn't ready to commit to 1% life, and it was a little bit different vibe. I'm very much about my family, and I'm always have my lady with me. Even when I was hanging out with 1% Club, every time I was on the road, she's on the back. So, but they're just not as they didn't necessarily like that, especially hang around time. You know what I mean? They want to see you by yourself, committed to them only. So it wasn't my vibe.
well, that's just it, man. That whole world is very it's a commitment. When everybody talks about, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, it's like, man, I hope you do, because it's a full-time commitment. There's no half-assing that shit.
No.
But at the same time, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do for you. You can't a lot of people chase that patch because it comes with a certain notoriety.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
But it was, just
What's that? You broke up.
Oh, I said I would have loved to have that patch, but I don't want it just because of what comes with it. I wanted what I thought was going to come with it, but it just didn't necessarily fit.
No, I hear you, man. I mean, look, my hat's off to anybody that can go through the process and become a brother to one of those guys. But at the same time, I mean, you can't fault somebody who doesn't see the same outlook on life. You know what I mean?
You're all there for the same mission, or at least you should be. If you don't see that vision, then I mean, the best thing you could do is step away instead of joining and then him and haw or cry all the time about how it's not what it should be. It was already what it was when you showed up. If you didn't want that, then just don't do it.
Yep. So I follow you on Instagram, and I've noticed that in the past year or so, you've been very heavy in the culture and your heritage.
I think
what sparked that, man?
During COVID, I actually happened to start talking with one of my aunts more, and she started posting a little more native stuff. And I started asking questions and being like, what do you actually know? And looking more into where I come from, and then trying to teach that to my kids. So I've gotten super involved in it, and actually getting my kids to go to like powwows and be involved in the culture and learn about where they come from. Cause I wasn't raised in my culture. And especially cause I have like one side's one culture and one side's another from my two different parents. They're not the same culture. So I wasn't raised like heavily in one. So I didn't get to learn a lot about mine. So I make sure to teach my kids. And
so what is your culture, man? Where do you come from?
On my mom's side, I'm Cuban. Both of my grandparents came from Cuba in like the 60s. And then on my dad's side, my grandfather was native from Mexico. And then my grandmother was like a mutt. She's just a mix of a little bit of everything.
So you're Cuban and Mexican?
Yeah, basically.
Well, that's cool, man. So is that the whole Aztec type culture, or what is that?
Like everybody automatically assumes native and Mexican automatically means Aztec, but that country is so huge that there are different native nations. I mean, here just in North America, there's like over 500. So there's in Mexico, there's several. The nation that I come from is called the Huiratica Nation, and they were not part of the Aztec Empire. They were actually part of the Chichimeca, which were like lower class natives in the eyes of the Aztec, because the Aztec were like a civilized people. They not civilized, but they had structures. They weren't nomadic. They had a set place where they lived. They had kings and queens, and it was a little bit different operation.
Yeah, motherfuckers reaching into your chest and pulling out your beating heart while they cut your head off. And so then your people were the ones that they pulled the heart from, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much like our people are shamanic people, so we don't not like a warrior society. Obviously, there was people to defend fighters, but we weren't out conquering other native nations. We're actually like, even to this day, that nation is still active. A lot of the nations in Mexico are active. And there's so many indigenous languages that are still spoken that people don't even know about. But yeah, they're still active to this day, and they're considered like the bringers of the rain in Mexico. So people will actually go to the villages where the nation that I come from live, and they'll ask them to bring rain when it's been like a long dry season.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty cool, man. It's good that you're teaching your kids the ways too, and keeping the ties to your heritage. That's important. We've lost a lot within our modern society here, in America.
Well, it's just, I think like it's what always kind of like I was always kind of curious about. It's like when you're, let's say native, let's just say Indian or whatever, they want to lump everybody up in one group. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so, we're up here. I'm in Wisconsin. Tank's in Florida. They don't have a culture besides, fucking with alligators and shit. But up here in Wisconsin, I mean, we have Native Americans or Indians or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. And like, not everybody thinks the same way or even wants to be part of the same group. And it's like, when the fuck did it become white people's fucking deal to say, oh, okay, you guys are all one thing, so all you guys get along. We're gonna, do whatever. It's like, no, man, everybody's got their own fucking history and their own fucking shit. You can't just be like, oh, well, you guys are this color brown, so you guys are in this section. You know what I mean? And I think it's cool that fucking people are digging into it, and trying to figure out where they came from,
Especially like the being like native from Mexico. It's weird because like America and Canada kind of get lumped together. No one even thinks twice about the fact that if you're like native from Canada, you're still Native American. But if you tell someone you're native from Mexico, they do the same thing you just did, where they're like, all right, so you're Mexican. But but Mexico is a nation, a country. You know what I mean? So for me to be Mexican would mean I originate from it. Like, I wasn't born there. It'd be like being American. You know what I mean? Like, American's not a thing. I assume, like Scottish or English. You have some sort of white heritage. That's not just America.
That's racist, sir. I am actually Irish and Norwegian. So
there you go. So you're not American. You're American citizen. But
I tell people I'm American just because I'm a mutt. My family has been here since the 1800s. It's like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like I tell people like my lineage because they want to know how white I am, because they don't understand how I can get a tan, yet I can get a tan during a full moon because I'm so fucking pasty. It's embarrassing, really. There is no pigment to me. I mean, like, it is what it is, I mean,
that's been probably one of the most interesting things that I like never really thought about, that I've learned along the way, is like, obviously most Mexicans consider themselves Mexican, but if you're not born there, like, ultimately a lot of Mexicans are half Spanish and half native of some sort. Like, I did my ancestry too, just out of curiosity, which doesn't tell you much, but at least it brings up like census records for old people in my family and stuff like that. And my split is almost right down the middle, basically like Spanish and Native American. And then the rest is like little tiny 2s and 3s of like little mutt mixtures that are in there.
Fuck, I mean, my family with my last name, we can literally, on my mom's side, they can pin it down to one tiny little town of about 2,500 people in Sweden, and then the other side is basically two brothers from Germany that came over in the late 1800s. So
that's what I'm really jealous of. It's like most of my white friends, if they do this same thing that I'm doing, they find so much more information. You guys have so much more documented. I mean, your birth documented, your travels from one country to the other at the ports were documented. When children were born, a lot of natives were born in the fucking mountains and shit, and there wasn't no paper trail. So like my grandfather, there's like a handwritten birth record from a doctor in Mexico that's like in cursive, and it has this date, and it says like what they are. Like, it would have said Spanish, or if he was a soldier or anything like that, it says he's like original people the city that they're from. So like that's really all I can find on him. Other than that, on my grandmother's side, from the same father, the paperwork they were more Spanish, less native. So they have a lot more of like where they signed up for the draft and things like that, like paper trail to where I can find more information on them. But on my native side, there's very little.
Well, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's doesn't matter where you came from, it's where you're going. So
yeah, very true.
At the end of the day, you're inspiring to start your own shop, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Don't call me sir. That's just weird. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Come on. We're not in the military anymore. What do you want to do for a shop?
Same thing.
Because that's kind of like a broad, it's a broad statement. What kind of shop do you want to own someday?
Same thing I'm doing right now, a full service motorcycle shop, because that's what we do. Everything's full builds from the ground up. We do powder coat. I do tire changes. We do service. We do motor builds, paint. We have a full fabrication shop. I'd like to have everything that I have right now, just it be mine.
Okay. Are you planning on opening it up in California?
No.
Smart man.
Where would you like to open up a shop?
I haven't decided yet. My wife and I are still trying to figure it out where exactly we're going to end up outside of here. It's hard to, like, you obviously don't want to lose the weather that California has, and you almost can't get it anywhere else. So it's like, if I go somewhere, I'm stuck with like Nevada or Arizona, somewhere where I'm still kind of like West Coast. It's going to be colder than it is here, but my summers will be a lot closer to what I have. And so I don't know. It's weird. We haven't really decided where the hell we're going.
What area of California? Are you like lower or upper, or where are you at?
Like in between San Diego and LA. I'm in Orange County, middle.
Okay.
But
yeah, well, I mean, shit. Well, I mean, there's always, well, yeah, Arizona's. I mean, well, like Love Cycles or whatever. They're in what, Phoenix?
yeah,
You got Ramjet. They're in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I got a homeboy that's building a shop right now in the Phoenix area. He's
but does California get triple digit temperatures 24/7 for 4 months?
it'll be like where I'm at. It'll bounce between like 90 to like 110 during the summertime.
Fuck that.
Well, it is a desert tank.
Hey, fucking heat's heat and oven's an oven, brother.
I hear you.
Yeah, I've thought about maybe even as far as like New Mexico or Colorado, but I don't know about fucking with snow.
Don't fuck with snow. Don't do that. You don't want any part of that. I'm just saying. But no, man, I think Arizona would be cool to open up a shop. I've always looked at Arizona as like a fucking place to go.
Yeah, Arizona, it's a fucking constitutional carry state. You can carry open or concealed. As long as you're an actual Arizona resident, you can carry concealed if you want, with no permit.
Wow,
Florida's getting ready to do that.
I already thought they were. Otherwise, I wouldn't have walked around Daytona the way I would have last year. So,
no, there's some issues with Wisconsin the concealed carry permits in Florida. But you wouldn't have listened to me anyway. So,
well, you know what they say: every state's a constitutional carry if you're not a pussy.
Yeah,
you cut it close one time, brother.
I did. I thought I was going to jail.
Yes, you did.
No, it's a vaporizer. Anyways, but
he bought it.
Well, cops aren't exactly the smartest people ever. So, as far as like full builds, are you talking more of like the whole like performance side of it, like the Dynabro type situation? You know what I mean? Are you talking like choppers? Are you talking baggers? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I would like to do choppers, but choppers are more of like maybe one a year or something like that, some little side project, because most chopper guys are broke as fuck. That's just facts. Most of the chopper dudes,
that's fucking true as shit, dude.
Pay for shit, they reuse everything, and they would not pay for my level of build quality. So like honestly, the dudes that seem to actually finance-wise be able to afford what I like to do is more on the Dynabro performance bagger side of things, where you can bring me a bone stock 2020 bag or something brand new, and it's going to leave with T-bars and probably painted tins, or if it's brand new, we may not touch the tins, but you're going to have cam job, and I'll do chain drive. So things like that. Everything's all performance based for the most part.
And shocks, inverted forks, all that good shit.
Olins, to be honest, the Russ Warnemont designs the RS1. I think that shock blows a lot of shocks out of the water, and it's only, I say only, but it's only about like $900 compared to
wow, that's not bad.
$100 or $1,600 for some Olins.
And which one is that again?
The Russ Warnemont, it's the RWD RS1. That's like my favorite shock to recommend to everybody on the mono shock softail chassis and on like dual shock baggers and dynas.
Oh shit! Because I got to get shocks for my bagger because that thing kicks my ass.
I'm telling you, if you try those RS1s, you will never want another shock ever.
Well, you know,
14 or 16 like rebound adjustments and like 7 or 8 compression adjustments. So you can take that thing within just a few clicks. It'll be either rock hard and you can fucking snap wheelies, or you can fucking make that thing to where it's floaty and you can ride all the way out there to visit Tang.
Nice. Well, because right now I got like, I forget what the fuck I put on there. Whatever performance shock I put on there. It's not even adjustable, but it's just rock fucking hard. So yeah, I can rip a wheelie and I can do all sorts of shit. But at the same time, when I go to visit Tank, I'm eating ibuprofen and drinking whiskey because my back is killing me, and I'm pissing blood because my kidneys are fucked. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So I've been looking at like Olins and fucking Legends and all this other shit. But yeah, I'll check those other shocks out, man. That might be
the Legend Revo Arcs with the piggyback on them are decent. The Revo A that doesn't have a piggyback, it's just adjustable and it has like a dampening adjustment. That one, even with the heavy duty shock, seems to be like too floaty, like a Cadillac. It never stiffens up.
Okay. Well, like, so I was talking to a guy. I got the progressive fork inserts, you know, the nitrous or not nitrogen charged fucking, you know, fork, you know what I'm talking about. You know, if you know, you know, if you don't, I don't tell you. Anyways. Yeah. And I was talking to a guy that got the Legend ones, and he's like, yeah, man, those Legend ones are too goddamn tough. Dude, the ones I got in the front of mine, the progressives, they're fucking perfect. They're like the best mix of both worlds.
The hell was that?
I don't know.
Car. Oh, you got your garage door up. It was a car. Oh, just lost him.
He going.
He'll be back.
Maybe this part out. He'll be back.
He'll be back. We'll kick it back. I want to ask him about electric motorcycles. I mean, he's out there in crazy California land. You know, because Zero has got a new venture now. Zero Motorcycles.
Yeah,
you've been following this. Curtis Electric Motorcycles. You heard of? Remember Confederate Motorcycles out of Birmingham, Alabama?
No,
they were making started out in like 1991.
Yeah,
they were making like V-twin street bikes, performance like 132 cubic inch, motors running like I don't know 145 horsepower at 5,200 RPMs with 160 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPMs. So they were just sick machines. But now he's ventured off into Curtis Electric Motorcycles, and I guess that's and Zero Motorcycles is doing it in conjunction.
Nice.
So they've been soliciting people for. There he is, coming back.
He's coming.
Recording in progress.
Here we go.
Back again. You there? Can't hear him. Oh well.
No, give him a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right, my bad. I couldn't hear you. Started her truck and my phone connected to her Bluetooth.
Son of a bitch. Modern inconvenience. But yeah, what do you think about progressive versus legend for fork inserts?
I like the Legend fork inserts. The drop in cartridge from Legend's really nice. Russ Warnemont, the ones that I just told you about, the shocks, they also make a drop in cartridge. My favorite one, it's not actually a drop in because it takes more than just dropping it in the fork tubes, but the GP suspension.
What's that?
It's another company that makes fork cartridge, but theirs you have to modify the fork tube and you get rid of the dampening rod completely, and then you put those cartridges in there. So you have to modify the tube a little bit, but they have just as much amazing adjustability as those rear Russ Warnemont shocks do.
Wow. Kind of sounds like those guys are new players in the suspension game. They might be taking over, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, hey. I think there's been a lot of innovation in the past, I don't know, 5-6 years for Harley Davidsons where they're starting to enter the performance world. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Especially with the Bagger Racing League coming out.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the performance parts that like the Harley team runs on their bike are all like factory, or maybe not factory, but they're all Harley like parts and accessory things you can run on your bike. So I think that concept's pretty cool that someone can like buy the Olin's version of the Screaming Eagle shock and all that whole shit that they run on their race bikes.
Yeah. Well, Indian kind of had that whole deal where they came out with that one Scout, and it was like, it's almost race ready.
Yeah, that put TR 1200. It's like a dirt track racer almost.
Yeah. Hey, Tank, you had a question about electric motorcycles.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. You're out there in crazy California. You see a lot of electric motorcycles out there.
See none of them. I couldn't even tell you that I've never come up like splitting and met an electric bike at the front or anything like that. I don't ever see them on the road. I've not even seen someone like test riding one. I see a lot of the Pan Americas every once in a while. There's still a fuck ton of Dynas where I'm at. So you don't see too many electric bikes. Being in SoCal, it's like all sport bikes and Harleys, and that's about it. I don't even see a lot of like Gold Wings or anything like that where I'm at.
Gold Wings, yeah, you know how we feel about Gold Wings. But I was telling Dirty, there's a new, well, it's an old company, but they changed names. Do you remember Confederate Motorcycles out of Birmingham, Alabama? Started out like 91, I think it was.
Can't say that I've heard of them, but
they were. Well, I mean, it's like a $90,000 motorcycle, so it's not like we would be able to afford one. What's that?
Not even in my price bracket.
Fucking nowhere near, man. But they teamed up now with Zero Motorcycles, and they changed their name from Confederate over to Curtis. And supposedly they built this new electric motorcycle that has a affordable replaceable battery system that's with it. And so I know that's the first, and they're basically like the frame is one piece of billeted aluminum. Then they're taking like different engineering concepts from airplanes.
Nice.
So supposedly, look to see what they're going to do in the future, because shit, they're trying to push this whole fucking electric vehicle thing down our throat. And well, we all know they're turning out to be some pretty big turds. Even the Teslas. I mean, you spend that much money for a fucking car, and then find out, how much to replace the battery in it.
Fuck that.
What about autonomous vehicles? You see much of that out in California?
A lot of, because of this, the Teslas out. Everybody is fucking doing the self-driving on the Teslas and shit. But I hate that, because we've seen in California, I haven't personally gotten almost hit or anything, but those the Tesla program or whatever that runs that car autonomously doesn't pick up lane splitting vehicles. So it will go to change lanes on a bike and not even pick up sometimes on its like sensor that there's something there.
Damn. But it will pick up bicycles?
I don't know about bicycles. Maybe they move slow enough that it picks it up. Maybe the bike just moves too fast for the sensor to react. But I've heard of a couple of people getting hit on bikes by people who were in the Tesla not driving it themselves.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about the whole deal with autonomous vehicles or electric vehicles.
And they cause traffic jams. I want to say like 6 months ago, there was some drunk lady who was fucking letting the car drive her home, but the autonomous vehicle still needs a coherent pilot because the program isn't set up to know what to do when it gets to like a roadblock, like if there's cones or something like that. It needs the person to take over. And this bitch was passed the fuck out and just sleeping while her car was at a dead stop, and all it was some cones that were trying to channel her from one lane into the other.
That's fucking funny.
That really is. Oh my God, you think they'd like think of that, you know? I mean, like kind
the
of
car is drunk too, officer. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no shit. A whole new defense from the fucking your lawyers there. Damn.
Yeah, what do you say?
What's that? What do you?
Judge, I wasn't driving.
Jesus Christ, man.
World's getting strange, man. You know, here's another weird little three-wheeled motorcycle I encountered quite recently here. Did you know the Morgan car people from England?
Yeah.
Morgan, they make the car with the wooden frame. Starting in 2010, they actually started making three-wheeled motorcycles with a V twin. So Morgan motorcycles.
What do you mean they're cars, but they got three wheels and a motorcycle engine?
They're trying to call them a motorcycle over there in England. That's a weird.
Well, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Sure. I think Top Gear had one. It was like a P something or other. It had like a kind of like that whole World War II, like, you know, flying tiger shark face on it or whatever. And yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing one a few years back in New Diggings, and I thought it was some custom job the guy had done because you had the V twin in the back, and I was like, well, that's fucking funky as hell, man. But then I happened to come across one here in Florida and looked it up, and I'm like, damn. Who knew? Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, everybody talks about how, you know, electric motorcycles are the future and they're all worried about it, you know. And I don't think that's the thing. I really don't. Like, you know, none of us are going to want to ride an electric bike. Let's be honest. You know, it's the noise, it's the fucking feeling, the sensation, whatever you want to call it. I don't know of one person that says, you know what, I want an electric motorcycle. I have never seen an electric motorcycle on the road. I have never seen, well, shit, I haven't even seen a Pan Am America or whatever the fuck Harley made. I haven't seen one in the wild yet.
Really?
I haven't seen one. And I live in Wisconsin where they're made. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see them ever.
Think about Harley letting the patent on that Evo motor run out. Now China's making an Evo Sportster.
Yeah, I saw somebody bitching about it. It's like, well, who cares? Fucking China tries to rip off everybody. Fuck, they got their own type of BMW. I don't know what they call it, but you know what I mean? Like, it's China. Who gives a fuck?
But I have a good buddy at Harley let me know that as of last year or late last year, the last he had heard was that Harley's planning on getting rid of all the air-cooled V-twins in their whole lineup, and they want to run that water-cooled Revolution motor that's in the Pan Am in their whole lineup.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's a bad idea.
It's just a matter of time, man. They were going to do something like that anyway.
I don't think it's that bad of an idea. I mean,
radiators. That's the only problem.
No, I hear you, man. But, you know, when you start making power creates heat.
Yes.
You know? And the more power you make, the hotter it's going to get. I mean, fuck. What is it? Moonshine motorcycles or whatever. They had that 146 that made like 176 horsepower at the wheel or some crazy shit like that.
That's a good topic. What do you feel about big horsepower bikes? Because I personally, unless you're building it for a drag bike, I don't think all these dudes that are doing like 129s, 131s, like that's just not for me. I like ripping canyons. So an overpowered torquey bike is a little too much I'm not trying to break traction in a canyon turn.
Well, so when I bought my Road King, it's an 09. It came factory with a 96 cubic inch, you know, twin cam. The previous owner, club brother, it basically turned into a 117. It had the biggest heads you can put on it, They were Harley Davidson Screaming Eagle Hurricane CNC race heads. It's got a 64 millimeter throttle body. It's got the biggest cams, T-Man 662-2 cams in it. Like, it made 146 wheel horsepower and about like 150-ish torque.
Yeah, but that's doable to me. Like you said, what, 117?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I feel like the dude's going like over 120.
Oh, you got to hear what he did to it here. This story's got to. This story's got to. It goes a little further here.
So that motherfucker got so hot, so fast. Like, yeah, you could ride it like crossing state lines, but as soon as you had it, as soon as you got off of it, that motherfucker was cooking because there was so much heat. You almost had to be going down the highway and you had to let it rest. Like, otherwise it would just overheat. I took power out of it. When I got it, it had about 11.7 to 1 fucking compression. It now has 10.5.
Good.
And I just recently dynoed it, and it's right around 130-ish for horsepower, about 140 something for torque. I love it. I mean, it's like the best of both worlds. So when I see these bikes like the Milwaukee 8s, because some of those 131 builds that they're doing are ridiculous, man. They're making real power with just basically an upper end rebuild. You know what I mean? They're not splitting the case. My case is split. I got a dark horse bottom end and all that shit. But these guys are basically putting like a big bore kit in heads and, bigger throttle body on it. And they're getting up to the, 140s, 150s for horsepower. Not to mention all these crazy assholes with turbos on their bike.
God.
It's like, well, the guy I bought the bike from, he sold that bike to build his new bike, which is a 2019 Slim, Softail Slim, and it's got a turbo. On the lowest setting, that bike makes 153 horsepower.
Too much. Maybe if you're
way too much.
Like stoplight.
No. You have to understand, it's a Harley Slim, so that means it's got a 160 rear tire.
Yeah.
Anything over quarter throttle, that motherfucker's spinning. And when I say spinning, Tank can attest to this. When we were in Florida, we were on the interstate, and we all jumped on it. And I took off like a bat out of hell, and he went to catch me. His bike was putting down a black fucking stripe on the goddamn interstate because it was spinning at 80.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as low as he can make it.
Yeah, that's no good. Not for me, at least.
You're overpowering the chassis.
Yeah.
I mean, look at sport bikes. Yeah, they make anywhere from 150, 180 wheel horsepower, but they got like a fucking 190 or 200 rear tire.
And the frame completely different.
Oh, completely different. They're made to put down the power. The tires that are on them are soft compounds. They're not made to go across the country. They're made to stick to the road or track or whatever. As where, if you're running around on a goddamn Dunlap, it's not exactly made to fucking hold that shit.
Yeah, no, you could maybe get away with it on like a Shinko, but you'll blow that 777 Shinko. You'll make it flat like a fucking spare tire for a Honda in about a week.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody asks me, how come you don't do all the fucking crazy burnouts going down? It's like, because in order to do that, you have to set your bike up to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, when you see, well, like, who High Side Joe is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen him on Instagram. Dude does crazy shit. It's awesome. I fucking love watching his videos. But that bike that he does it on is specifically designed, and I'm not telling you, I'm telling more like, the 6 people that are watching us that might not know who High Side Joe is. But that bike is specifically set up to do that. Yeah. I mean, it's geared way down, it's got a big ass rear sprocket on it. It's got some bullshit Shinko garbage tire on it that's not going to get any traction whatsoever. It's an '08 or older fucking frame, so it means it's got a 130 or whatever the fuck rear tire on it. Yeah, he can do burnouts. No big deal, put a halfway decent front brake on it, yada, yada, yada. You can fucking do all sorts of crazy shit with it. But, you know, if you want a bike that, you know, can cross state lines and fucking go on, you know, 1,000-mile trips, you can't fucking do all that shit.
That's why I love my Dyna. It's old, but I like after my wreck, I set it up even better than what I had before. Like I had Patriot springs in it before, which were nice, but they just kind of like your rear ones. It just ultimately just beefed it up and it was too stiff.
Oh, yeah.
So when I put it all back together, I went down an inch on the fork tube length. I ran Race Tech springs with the gold valve emulator, so I actually have some adjustment in them. I put Bagger Brembo front brakes, so now I got dual front brakes with the Bagger Brembos.
Nice.
Did an 88, hopefully do cams next in it, but I think that 88 motor is fucking bulletproof. I love that bike.
Yeah, the twin cam 88 is probably one of my favorite engines ever made. It's right there with the 1200 sporty motor.
Yep. Once you do the cam chain tensioner upgrade, that's literally, then your fucking 88 is solid. And I swapped out a piece of shit vacuum diaphragm petcock for a Pingle, and I switched out the shitty CV carburetor that was in it for a Mikuni HSR.
That's the correct answer right there. Mikuni makes the best goddamn carburetors for Harleys.
Absolutely.
I know I'm in Wisconsin. I'm supposed to say S&S is the way to go, but no, it's Mikuni.
No, I don't really care for the choke on the S&S, how it's on top of the carburetor.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, it's not a bad carburetor. It's just not as good as a Mikuni.
Yep. I like the Mikuni is like a race carburetor. You can get to the jet without taking the bowl off. There's so many different advantages to that thing. No vacuum diaphragm up in the top of it. Mm-hmm. So you don't have an air coming in for the butterfly. There is no butterfly. It's got a slide. There's so many advantages.
I agree 100%. I can't even put it any better than that. Hey, Tank, what do you run for carburetor on your Softail?
I run a CV Pro.
Oh,
yeah, constant velocity, baby. I know. I'd like to put a Mikuni on there, you know, but all it takes is money and time.
I have an HSR 42, if that'll work for you. That was gifted to me just for some parts. It's only missing a few small parts. I think I took like one of the needles out of it that just needs to be replaced. But I have it all in pieces. I can send you that thing.
You want my address?
We'll put it down below here. It'll scroll right below here.
That's already been done on Black Dragon. Thank you. No, I got marriage proposals off of that fucker, man. And they were from dudes, all right? So
dude, Insane Throttle put my goddamn phone number out there for the world to see. It's like,
yeah, both of us. Black Dragon for me, you want Insane Throttle. And it wasn't like it was just one or two times by. It was like 15 fucking minutes.
Jeez.
But yeah, no, I'll give you my address, Chip. You want to send it to me? God, please. Thank you very much. Because Dirty was just telling me that the Mikuni switches right over to the CV intake boot. So
some of them,
there's one Mikuni that does. Yeah.
Okay.
You usually end up having, if you do the Mikuni intake manifold, then you get a 2-bolt flange style one where it'll just pop on like a CV, and then you'll be able to swap it all the time if you wanted to go back. But depending on what size carburetor, like the HSR 42 will fit on the CV, but unless your CV is the Pro, so it might be the 45. So then you can run the 45. You just have to play with.
It's a 42.
It's a 42.
Oh yeah.
Still 42. Then the 45 that I have, that's what I'm going to send you. I think it's a 45. You have to get the bigger boot.
Yeah,
not a problem. That I can do. Thanks, man. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
You broke up again.
Oh, sorry. I was saying it's definitely cheaper than the whole carburetor itself, just getting the manifold.
Fucking A. Right
so what's that bike over your right shoulder?
Oh, that's my buddy's stunt bike. So that one is like a 94 Sporty, I think. It's got like 6 over tubes and fucking like 15-inch shocks in the back. That thing, if you clutch up, you're doing a 12 o'clock wheelie, no problem.
No shit, dude. That's awesome. What's the other one?
The other one is another buddy's Dyna. Look, I think that one's like a 15 Street Bob.
Nice. So we're into your garage right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is there a stripper pole in it?
Oh, I mean, why not?
I mean,
What kind of question is that?
Oh man, why?
A friend of mine, and it's his house, so he put that pole up. It was there when I got here.
Okay.
The more you know.
Well, we just talked about how you're now trying to be part of a family or more family club, and family's a big deal, yada yada yada. But stripper pole, you know what I mean? It's like that's awesome. I love it.
Process of prospecting for a 1% club. He's on the same journey.
Fucking awesome.
Enough
What
said.
else you got,
Cool.
Tank?
I'm just wondering, we're heading into a new year. 2022 was like fucking hold my beer. What you got anything, any words of wisdom for us going to this new year?
Words of wisdom. Not really. I'm not all that wise.
Sure?
I mean, just I don't know, man. I don't take life one day at a time. That's my only words of wisdom. I don't ever try to. I'm real bad at budgeting or anything that involves too much forward looking. So I just take it one day at a time.
Like every other asshole that's on this fucking podcast, man. We can't think past our own fucking project, you know. It's like, I'm sitting here like, man, I'm stressed out about money, but you know what? I'm gonna spend $1,600 for a fucking set of fucking Invader wheels because I really need them in my life.
Yep. I always find ways to budget for the bike, even though I probably shouldn't.
Well, you gotta have your priorities. I mean,
yeah.
Come on. You only go around in this rock once. You might as well have fun while you do it.
Well, I mean, and even if you believe in reincarnation, and you think you go over and over again, you only remember the one you're in. What the fuck is the matter anyway,
That's true. So where do you fall on this whole Brittany Griner fucking guy fucking merchant of death trade? What do you think about that?
Honestly, I haven't looked much into that thing, but I definitely don't think we should have traded for her. I don't see trading like some sort of war criminal for a stoner basketball player who knew she wasn't supposed to take weed over there anyway.
I think she's a dude anyway, but yeah.
I'm very confused. Is that a dude or is that a chick?
I'm pretty sure it's a dude, man.
Did
you hear its voice?
No.
Chicks don't have deep, low voices like that. Well, I had a gym teacher that did, but that's another story entirely.
I had multiple lesbian gym teachers. Did you have any lesbian gym teachers when you grew up, Joey?
Lesbian gym teachers. No, I had Coach Mealy. He was a football coach. He was my weight training, and he was like a 400-pound white dude.
No, I had two. Well, I had Miss Wagner and Miss something or other. Started with an L, like Luger or something like that. And one looked like a dude, but wasn't, and was a lesbian with the one that was Miss Wagner, who was a really, really, really close friend with one of my friend's moms, if that, So, I've got no problem with the lesbians, but I'm just saying, like that was what it was going on when I was in high school.
I got no problem with any of it. Here's what I think about this whole two gender thing is, all right, so you cut a dog's nuts off. You still call him a male dog, right? Even though he doesn't have nuts. Can we cross apply that to the human race and stop being so fucking crazy about it all? I mean, this shit's got to end, man. And
stay out of all of that. Everybody that's in my circle isn't in the like group of people that has to announce their pronouns before they speak. All my people we already know who's what and what.
Makes it simple, right? Keep it fucking stupid simple.
Well, we bring it up because Tank pulled up an article where there's a transgender motorcycle club now.
Yes.
Where are they out of?
They're out of Kansas. Kansas City.
What do they call themselves? The Ass Cream Men from Hell?
No. They were the Original Gents MC.
Seems a bit odd.
It seems a bit odd. But I mean, there's actually the homosexual clubs, the transgender, all of them, they've got a long history in this country. I had no idea. So I fell down a rabbit hole doing a little investigation. There's actually a homosexual motorcycle club out of California, your area, called Oedipus MC. Now,
we'll send you a link.
Now, to enlighten everybody, Oedipus MC, Oedipus Rex, was the dude that like wanted to fuck his mom, and so that kind of seems to like work against like the homosexuals. Like, so I mean, you know, I can't even keep track anymore.
It's like they do it as a strategy to keep you on your toes, so you can't figure them out.
They don't run in the same circles as us, thank God. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah,
I know I tried to suck Paulie Bacon fingers into this topic. Also, he wasn't having it.
You know, he got super PC super quick, man. What the fuck is that, dude? Like, dude, you follow him on Instagram. He's got all, you know, he you know, his everyday carry is a Beretta 92, which is kind of weird, but whatever, dude. You know, I mean, yeah, everybody's got to have their fucking choice, but yeah, and all of a sudden now he's like a fucking politician. It's like, dude, what the fuck happened to Paulie Bacon fingers?
Ever since we linked up through you guys, pretty much since we were both on the podcast, we talk almost every day.
No shit.
Well, I'm glad we could hook you guys up, man. That's awesome. It's all about building relationships. And Tank will send you a thing for the gay thing. Maybe you and Paulie Bacon fingers could figure it out. It'd be awesome, dude. Good
prospect for the whatever the hell that club was.
Dinosaurs. Or, yeah, oh no, yeah, no, yeah.
The original gents.
The original gents. I mean,
that seems like a weird name, gents.
Doesn't it?
It does.
It should be like the original they thems or something like that.
Yeah,
I got nothing else for this podcast. I'll show you a picture after we're done recording of how my night went, but because I can't put it on air because that would be a whole thing. But yeah, you got anything? Final last words there, Joey. What do you got?
I don't know. We've covered just about everything. Not too much has changed. Everything that changed, I've informed you already. Just hoping this year is where I'm able to at least stack some cash and start building up some side customers to get myself to be able to open my shop.
There you go, man.
Well, you at got least, the old. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just getting a customer base. That's like my goal for this year.
Well, you got the old lady doing paint now too, so it sounds like you're well on the way in the right direction.
Sure.
Right on, man. Well, fuck, it was cool catching back up with you again, man. It seems like we've, you know, sort of kept track of you anyway through the social media machines.
Of course.
Which is kind of a neat thing, like a neat byproduct of our podcast. We've met so many people from all over the place, and that's amazing how we've all like stayed in touch and kept sort of this little core group of people now that know each other through our little bullshit podcast.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a shit podcast. I mean, you guys got followers now, and everybody's like a whole community now where everybody's reaching out to each other. And
well, we do have stickers.
We have stickers. That's right.
Tank made up some stickers, sent them to me. So we're going to ask for your address. We're going to send you a free sticker.
Absolutely. Well, it's a good trade for that Mikuni.
I'll pay for the shipping.
I don't know about that, but you might be getting the short end of the stick, but at least you'll get a sticker. And let's be honest, we all appreciate a good sticker.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this is what my computer looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all appreciate a sticker, you know?
Definitely.
All right. Well, let's not make my mom and our 12 fucking followers fucking suffer any more of this bullshit.
Well, fucking A, man. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying hi to Dirty's mom. I know she's always listening.
She always is. Listening. Every fucking one. Every fucking one.
Who knew? All right. Well, we're gonna be, you know, bring you and your mom together, Dirty, through a podcast, you know?
Well, you know, hey, you know, it's the little things in life.
My mom would never watch this podcast.
My mom either.
No, I would get too many Chris's. Chris. All right. Well, thanks.
My mom knows what a degenerate I am.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening. Joey, thanks for coming on. It's good to catch up with you. We'll bring you back. We'll talk after we get done with this, so don't drop off. And hey, keeping going into 2023, fucking ride it. Don't talk about it. Get out there and ride. And Keep in
Don't
mind,
be hiding, be riding.
Oh God. We're not going to talk about him, are we? Really?
No.
Okay, good. I like the reference, though. So keep in mind, the most dangerous part in your motorcycle is the nut that connects the fucking seat to the handlebars. Peace.
Later, guys.